Now, after years of anticipation, Formula One finally hits the streets of Las Vegas this weekend, but the excitement levels are perhaps not what Formula One bosses were expecting. With freezing temperatures, threats of worker strikes, and a lot of pissed off locals, could the Las Vegas Grand Prix be a disaster? How did the Las Vegas Grand Prix come to be? To answer how the Las Vegas Strip came to be a Formula One circuit, you'd have to go back to 2016 and the takeover of the sport by Liberty Media. The American company spent $4.4 billion to take control of the sport, and it's clear they didn't spend that kind of money just to keep things the way they are. From the off, the company wanted to expand F1 interest in two key markets, the US and China. The COVID pandemic made the latter unachievable for the time being, so Liberty focused its efforts on its home country, the US. Initiatives like Netflix Drive to Survive, more access to the drivers, and allowing clips to be used on social media has made the sport much more accessible for its non-traditional markets. The result of such interest has allowed F1 to further attack the US market, notably with the Miami race being added in 2022 and now Vegas. Vegas itself was always a dream for many within F1's leadership, but it took until March 2022 for a deal to be finally announced. Where in Las Vegas is F1 racing? Formula One has always wanted to go big if it got to Vegas, and there is nowhere bigger than the Strip itself, home to some of the most iconic landmarks and views that are identifiable across the world. To make this a reality, Formula One purchased a $240 million plot of land to locate the pit and paddock, which will serve as the start-finish line for the race. The cars will then go down Koval Lane before entering the new Sphere Arena. A left-hander transitions onto Sands Avenue, and then the track then goes through two very fast bends before entering a slow left onto Las Vegas Boulevard, also known as the Las Vegas Strip. This is a 1.181 miles flat-out section with two straights and a slight sweeping left that goes past some of Las Vegas' most famous hotels and casinos before a final turn onto Harmon Avenue and back towards the start line. Why are there issues? Well, if you can imagine some of the busiest roads in the world, the Las Vegas Strip would be one of them, which means there is naturally going to be a huge amount of disruption to get it ready for an F1 race. But even with the advance warning, the locals were unprepared for what was to come. Construction for the new pit building started last year, but in recent weeks, the Strip itself had been getting race ready. The first thing that's annoyed just about everyone is F1's attempt to block anyone from getting a free view of the action. The Strip has a number of footbridges over the road to avoid injuries and allow pedestrians to cross from casino to casino without having to dodge traffic. Naturally, these bridges provide great views of the Strip, so what have F1 decided to do? Cover them up. F1 safety rules means any bridge going over a track must be covered, but nowhere does it say they must also have wrap placed on the glass to stop people seeing through. No sooner after the film had been put on the walls, locals began to tear it off, with videos of the damage spreading like wildfire on TikTok. It's not just those on foot either who are becoming more and more annoyed, as the construction needed to make the Strip race ready has been going on for months and caused wide levels of disruption. Random unannounced road closures, huge traffic jams, and making already very crowded places even more busy are enough to drive anyone mad. For locals, it's become unacceptable, meaning journeys that used to take 15 minutes now taking well over an hour. Such has been the disruption that the University of Nevada, Las Vegas is now suggesting a virtual learning format for 2 weeks, something they've not done since the COVID pandemic. To add to injury, the trees in front of the fountains of the Bellagio have been cut down to make way for grandstands, and they've provided rare shade on the Strip for more than 2 decades. F1 hitting the wallets of Las Vegas locals. While the problems listed so far have been based around time and delay, Las Vegas residents have not been spared from financial loss either. To start with, even getting around is going to cost more. Concerned about a surge in demand and what they say is a European tendency not to tip, the Nevada Taxi Cab Authority Board decided to impose a $15 surcharge on all fares between Harry Reid International Airport and 3 resort corridor locations to encourage full workforce participation during the event. Meaning the very same journey is now going to cost Las Vegas residents far more than it did a few weeks ago. What's more, despite the race taking place in their city, many of the local F1 fans have been priced out of even seeing a glimpse of the action. The cheapest ticket on offer was $500, which would probably get you an incredible view at almost every other circuit on the F1 calendar. To sit in the main grandstand in Vegas will cost you a minimum of $1,500, while there are reports of hotels charging $1 million to stay during the race weekend. If you decide to travel from outside the city, you're still going to be hit hard with F1 forcing the businesses on the strip to pay a licensing fee to host watch events for the race, and that cost will inevitably be passed on to consumers. All of this has made a lot of US fans feel it's only their money that F1 is interested in. But it's not just fans either. It took a last-minute deal to prevent around 53,000 workers in Las Vegas from striking. If it had gone through, 18 casinos along the strip that would have been affected by a strike, including the Bellagio, Mandalay Bay and Caesars Palace. Late start times and cold weather. For the fans that do decide to fork out and pay to sit in the grandstands, they're in for a freezing evening. The race gets underway at 10 p.m. local time, and forecasts suggest the temperature could be as low as 3 or 4 degrees during the weekend. While giving the fans a less than enjoyable experience in the coverless grandstands, it also poses a problem for the teams and the drivers, with tyres unable to get warm and postnatally leading to more accidents. In particular, take a look at the circuit layout and the pit exit. Drivers on freezing cold tyres are being asked to do a full 180 to get back on track into turn 1 and can find themselves next to a couple of battling cars who are diving into a blind bend. What do the drivers think? If you ever need someone to be a voice of reason, you can rely on Max Verstappen to be that guy. The Red Bull driver is not afraid to say what he really thinks, even if it may ruffle the feathers of the F1 bosses, and Vegas is no different. He said, "First of all, we're there more for the show than the race itself, looking at the layout of the circuit. I'm not actually that much into that. I'm more, I'll go there, do my thing, and be gone. I'll deal with that once I arrive to the track. I mean, there's still a lot to do. I still need to go on the simulator. I still don't even know the track, to be honest. The last time I tried it on the F1 game, I think I hit more walls than I was going straight. So let's hope that's not the case when I start driving there. It's going to be very different to Brazil, very low temperatures, and of course at night. We have no experience there. We don't know the track grip, it's all new, so maybe it'll give a few surprises." Verstappen's former teammate Alex Albon was less damning, but was hardly full of praise for the circuit. The Williams driver said, "It's quite a simple circuit in terms of its layout, it's quite easy to learn. The one thing which will be interesting is the roughness and the bumps of the track, how well of a job they've done on that. I think in terms of racing, there's going to be a lot of overtakes, because at least from what I drove, there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of places you can overtake. The straights are absolutely massive. Especially coming out of the last corner into turn 1, it's a corner that's not that hard to stay close to the car in front, so I think you'll get a lot of overtaking." Well, with a few days out, it's clear that with disgruntled locals, awful conditions, and eye-wateringly high ticket prices, the Las Vegas Grand Prix is not being met with the kind of enthusiasm that F1 and Liberty Media may have expected. Having poured a huge amount of their own money into the event, Liberty Media need it to be a success, but right now, there are a number of things that are likely to stop that. As always, thanks for watching, and make sure you like the video and hit subscribe so you never miss a release here on the DRS Straight.